What is up, everybody? Welcome to Best Bet, where me, Wheezy, Narco, and Billy Briz are going to the best bet for UFC Vegas 39. We do have a 9-fight card, but this could potentially be card of the year. I mean, how can you not look forward to rising star Charlie Ontiveros, or how about the prospect and Damon Jackson? I mean, there's so many great fights on this card. Looking forward to getting through all of them and talking the best bet for each fight. So as always, there are only two rules on this stream. Rule number one, we're going to use current UFC lines. And rule number two is going to be no passing, no matter what, no matter how bad a fight is. We're going to try to find the best bet for each and every fight. So, Uncle Weezy, what is up? Are you looking forward to potentially what could be card of the year?
Dude, card of the year, card of the decade, perhaps. It's early. Card of the century, even. You know, we're only 21 years into the century. This is, you guys, if you're not tuned in right now, then you're not an MMA fan. This is the card of the year. We're going to all buy yachts after we're done giving you these bets, dude. They're all locks.
100%. Narco Cobb, what is up with you? Are you looking forward to what could be card of the year?
What's up, Brady? Yeah, man, you know what? I'm always looking forward to fights. That's one thing for sure. But yeah, I mean, this card has a couple of good fights, honestly. But nothing to write home about. We're getting two really good cards coming up soon, including next week's card. And yeah, let's go for it, man.
Yep, next week is not bad. It's better than this though. Billy, what is up? You looking forward to the card, man?
Man, why is everybody shitting on this card, man? When was it ever? I don't know about you guys, but I like my money fast. 2 o'clock, get done by about 7 o'clock. Let me get my money fast and watch the Tyson Fury fight and smoke a blunt tonight, right?
Yep, I guess so. I guess one thing good about it is the card is going to be over quickly, so I'm able to do stuff tonight, so that's cool. So do want to shout out the chat before we get started. If you guys can all leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Go live every week, 1 hour prior to the prelims, giving our best bet for each and every fight. We have Headley 1 in the chat first, Jacob in the chat as well, Mystic Sosa. We have Prodigy saying you trust Agapova. Of course not. Kirby. We have Hype MMA, David as well. We have Kenda Sablo, something like that.
I like how this is a pro Agapova podcast, man. I'm at the right spot.
It could be. It could be. We have J-Dog in the chat. We have HN Nicholas Lee, DXJ. Thank you all for hanging out. Adam as well. Chase as well. Taken and Daz hanging out. All right. So I say we get into it. Let's start with the first fight of the night, which could be potentially one of the lowest level fights of the year. It's definitely up there, but it's a fight that I'm actually looking forward to quite a bit to kick off the night. So Wheezy, we'll start with you. What is the best bet for Charlie Ontiveros going against Steve Garcia?
Very simple for me. This is the first bet I made on this entire card. We made it, I believe, on Sunday, Brady, during Stat Diggers. I've got 3 units on the fight. Doesn't go to decision. I got it at minus 200, like I say, almost a week ago at this point. But Charlie Ontiveros has 7 career losses, and all of them have come inside the distance. And then we add to the fact that, you know, Steve Garcia was fighting at 135 and 145 prior to moving up to 155. And we got Ontiveros moving down from 170 to 155. We could see, with Ontiveros draining himself, an even chinnier Charlie Ontiveros, which is 100% knockout rate in his losses anyway. So, you know, I do see this fight finishing inside the distance. Charlie, in his own right, has a ton of power. He's got a really good hook. And if he lands it on your chin, you're going down. So I see this fight finishing inside the distance at about a, 66% implied probability, minus 200. I like that bet. So I've got 3 units on it, man. If that fight goes the distance, your Uncle Weezy's going to have a rough day today. I'm telling you that.
No, I feel you there. I'm right there with you. I have 2 units on that exact same bet, minus 200. What I'm going to give out here for best bet is going to be the under 2.5 rounds, which is sitting at minus 192 on FanDuel. Was 164 earlier in the week, but I completely agree with you, Weezy. I think this fight does end pretty quickly. It covers both sides. I think Garcia knockout round 1, round 2 is probably the most likely scenario, but Ontiveros is long, he's lengthy, he's dangerous himself in his own right. So I think Garcia does get it done though, but it does cover both sides. I think there is a finish one way or another. You mentioned how Ontiveros has been finishing all 7 of his losses. I think he's not only, I question his durability, not only physically, but mentally as well. We've seen him quit in several fights. We've seen him get hurt in a ton of fights as well. So, yeah, I like Garcia here, but the play I'm going to give out is going to be the under 192 or under 2.5 at minus 192. Kind of covers both sides there. Narco Cop, what are you looking at for this fight?
Pretty much on the same boat with you guys. The only thing I'll say is you can get that on DraftKings at an alternate line at minus 175, which is my play. My tracked play is there at minus 175. Yeah, pretty much, Ontiveros gives me those quitter vibes. The guy's quit multiple times, basically asking the ref to stop the fight multiple times. Garcia, very aggressive, comes forward. Guy was a 135-pounder 2 years ago. I have no idea how he made that weight, but he looked good on the scales, looked pretty thick. I was surprised that Ontiveros wasn't that much bigger than him, so which gave me even more confidence in this play. I think he's going to come forward. I think he's going to put the pressure. Ontiveros doesn't like pressure. Ontiveros doesn't like getting hit. I think Garcia is going to do a lot of that. The only thing is, the only reason why I played this over like a Garcia inside the distance is the fact that Ontiveros has some really good leg kicks. He uses that axe kick, has a powerful leg kick. So, and Garcia is there to be hit. So that's kind of why I decided to go with the under 2.5 instead of Garcia inside the distance.
Sounds good. I agree with you there. Prodigy's liking the fight won't start round 3, minus 150. I don't hate that. And DXJ is liking Ontiveros flying Imanari roll round 4. Bet your house on it. I could see it. I could potentially see that one. So, Billy.
That's happening for sure. For sure.
Billy, do you agree with me, Wheezy, and Narco? Do you think there's going to be violence, or do you see it going a different way?
Man, I'm going to go on a different route with this one. I'm going to go with Garcia inside the distance, minus 135. Wheezy said it right there, man. Ontiveros has been knocked out 7 times. 8 out of 11 wins for Garcia is by KO, TKO. If you go to Brigada instead of DraftKings, you can get it at minus 135. I mean, not Brigada, BetMGM has that minus 135 Garcia inside the distance. I feel like it doesn't really get any easier than that. You're muted, Brady.
Brady, you're muted.
My bad. I was muted. I didn't mute myself. That's weird. So, okay, so we'll move on to the next fight here. We have Lupita Godinez going against Silvana Gomez Juarez. We will start right back with Billy Briz. What are you looking at here?
Shouts to Emily Ducate. Me and Mills did an interview with her yesterday on Pub Sports Radio, the Invicta strawweight champ. She had some insight on this one because she was familiar with the girl that was taking the fight on short notice. She said that both of these fighters, I wouldn't be it's going to keep it on the feet. It's not going to hit the ground. It should be loopy by decision, minus 115 all day. So I'm going to go with Emily Ducate, current Invicta strawweight champ. She knows her shit. A lot of these fights are at her weight class. She broke down the fights for us yesterday, so it kind of gave me a better feel on these chick fights. I do like Godinez, though, if you're running parlays that are more than 4 legs.
You are on the Godinez side, and you like her by decision. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight?
Honestly, it's so hard to find anything on this fight. But I'll give you guys Godinez by KO. Plus, I saw it at plus 650, I believe, on it's down now. It's plus 550 on Bet Online. Yeah, so the reasoning behind that is Juarez is very hittable. I saw it in a lot of her fights. She's aggressive. She comes forward. She throws actually she's not a bad fighter at all. And the other thing here is a lot of people think this is late notice. It really isn't. She was training for a Tuesday Dana White's Contender Series fight in 2 days, or 3 days. So she was actually getting ready for a fight. It's not really a short notice for her. But, Godinez doesn't have any KOs, but the girl throws with a lot of power. She's very strong. She was tossing Penne around like she was a rag doll last fight. So, I still think, she can knock this girl out just because the girl's there to be hit. And Godinez actually goes for it, puts a lot of pressure on you. And to get a number like plus 550 for a girl that's eventually going to get a KO, I believe. I don't know if this is a spot because Juarez is very durable. But, I think she's going to be able to land on her and maybe even make her succumb to a lot of strikes basically, because she does pressure a lot.
So you are on the Godinez KO side, and I'm kind of on the same page with you, Narco Cop. What I did point out was going to be the under 2.5 rounds at plus 200 on Bet Online there. And the reason being is, Godinez hits very, very hard, and it's weird to see that she has no knockouts. And I agree with you, Narco, that knockout is probably going to come soon, right? She's not going to go her whole career without any knockouts with how hard she does hit. And on the flip side, Juarez is very dangerous in her own right. Juarez has actually finished 80% of her wins. So really nothing really sticks out a ton on this fight, but the under 2.5 rounds plus 200, I think it's worth a little poke there. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight?
Yeah, I've got a tracked bet on this fight. I've actually got a half unit on Juarez here. I've looked into the stats and stuff, and Juarez is going to be an inch taller. She's got a 4-inch reach advantage. She's got twice as much pro experience compared to Lupi. An 80% finish rate too for Juarez in 10 professional wins, while we see Lupi only finishing one of her 5 wins, one of those at the lowest level, really. Lupi Godinez has been to the judges' scorecards on a couple of different occasions, and the judges just don't seem to like her. I don't get it. I thought she won that fight against Penne. They gave it to Penne. She fought Vanessa Demopoulos for 5 rounds, absolutely destroyed Demopoulos, and somehow it wound up being a split decision. So I'm seeing Juarez at plus 280 right now. You could throw down a half unit to win like almost 1.5 at like a 27% implied probability for a girl with a 4-inch reach advantage, twice as much pro experience, and a much better finishing pedigree. So I've got a half unit on Juarez. I want to be clear that I do think Godinez wins this fight and probably wins it by decision. However, I think there's a lot of value at plus 280. And like you say, this fight's probably going to go to the scorecards. Right now, Vegas has it going to the scorecards about 75% of the time. So, the judges are going to get involved. And when you got these moron judges getting involved, you might as well be holding the plus 280 ticket. So half unit on Juarez, plus 280.
There you go. Yeah, it's not like Juarez is like a bum by any means. Like he's pretty good. So yeah, I don't really get the plus 280 price tag myself. So yeah, it could be worth the sprinkle for sure. We have Adrian in the chat with the dono. He's saying Tom Breeze in the building. This card is sketchy. That said, I am all in on that fraud Agapova. You're calling her a fraud, but you're all in on her. I like betting the crazy chicks. Well, best of luck to you, Adrian. We'll be talking about some Agapova very, very soon. All right, so let's move on to the next fight. And we have an interesting one in Charles Rosa going against Damon Jackson. Let's start with Narco Cop. Narco, what do you like for this fight?
I actually have a track bet on Jackson by decision plus 155. I like the play. Charles Rosa, very, very durable. Most of Jackson's wins are via submission. I don't think he's going to be able to get a submission on Rosa. Defensively, when he's on the ground, he's sound. He knows what he's doing down there. He's a black belt in BJJ. He kind of threatens some submissions from bottom at times, but I just think Jackson is, he has a collegiate wrestling background. Guy's going to be the better grappler. I think he's going to be on top. I don't see Rosa taking him down. Rosa's, wrestling is not good at all, in my opinion. And if this stays standing, it's going to be pretty close. I think Damon Jackson has decent hands. People say, they might think he's fragile, but man, Elliott the guy was throwing absolute bombs last fight. And it took a lot of those bombs to get him out of there. And to be honest, what got him actually out of there was the body shots. And those were big body shots from Topuria. Jackson's actually durable. Go watch the fight against, 2 fights ago. I believe it was against Bektic. Bektic had him on the ground for 2.5 rounds. And eventually he's the one that eventually got Bektic tired and subbed him out in the third. So he's a durable guy himself. Rosa's very, very extremely tough guy. I just don't see Jackson getting him out of there, but I do see him controlling him because Rosa loves to stay on his back like a turtle and basically play guard and play from his back. So, plus 155, I think is good value on Jackson.
It looks like we're seeing the fight pretty much the same. I think the blueprint is out on how to beat Charles Rosa. You take him down, you exploit that like 44% takedown defense, and he doesn't have much of a get-up game. So I do like your decision call. For me, I took kind of the safer route, I guess you could say. I went with the over 2.5 rounds, minus 172 on FanDuel, which is looks like the best line out there, minus 200 on Bet Online, minus 177 on 5 dimes. And the reason being is, I guess what kind of scares me is both guys are typically finishers. I think Damon Jackson has been to maybe 1 or 2 decisions in his career. But like you said, Narco, Rosa is very, very tough, next level toughness, and it's so hard to submit this guy. I think it's like nearly impossible to submit this guy. We saw Bryce Mitchell get this guy into like 10 deep submissions he was able to fight out of. So yeah, I kind of see it the same way as you, Damon Jackson, by decision, but I took the over 2.5 rounds, minus 172. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, I like what both of you guys are saying so far. I do not have a bet on this fight. I'm not touching this one. But one that kind of stuck out to me, which I'm going to give you guys, is Charles Rosa inside the distance is plus 450 here. So Damon Jackson has been finished in all of his pro losses. And, you know, Rosa has a really sneaky submission game in his own right. I mean, both of these guys are very top-level grapplers here. And I see this kind of rolling around on the ground, both of these guys trying to finish the fight. But one of the things that I do see is that, you know, Jackson has been finished in all of his losses. And, you know, Rosa's a bit of a public dog this week, but at plus 160 or so, that's not bad. But, you know, inside the distance, when his opponent has lost all of his losses inside the distance, being plus 450, where you're talking about like, you know, about a 19% implied probability, I think it's not bad. So yeah, that's what I'm going to give you guys, but I'm not betting it, and I don't have a bet on that fight.
Yeah, and you were touching on the Rosa by submission a little bit last night, how that stuck out plus 750 as well. So, Billy, what are you looking at on this fight? Do you like the Damon Jackson side, or are you on the Rosa side, or maybe a prop?
I usually don't throw stats out the window, but this fight, I felt like I had to throw the stats out the window, man. Jackson usually gets finishes. I just don't see him finishing really Charles Rosa in this one. And there's not really a lot of live dogs on this week's card, so I kind of lean towards Charles Rosa. I was actually pretty shocked to see Damon Jackson get lined as the favorite at minus 200. I thought that was a little bit off. I think there's some line value on Rosa here. I don't think Rosa's the most consistent fighter, so I don't want to put my money on it. I was kind of looking at playing this 2 ways. Fight goes at distance minus 150, and then Charles Rosa by decision at plus 300. But Wheezy does bring up some good stuff, man, and that's the exact reason why I don't want to bet on this fight. But I like to live bet the card. I can't watch a fight without throwing at least $5 to $10 on it. So we're going to have to throw something degenerately on it. It's going to be one of those 3.
There you go. I like it. Mystic Sosa with the dono. Can I borrow $1 Agapova all day? Sosa really high on Agapova. Can't wait to talk about.
One last thing I got to say. If you're playing on FanDuel for DFS, you got to remember you get points for takedown defense. It's a little bit different from DraftKings, and I think this is a fight that either one of these fighters could sneakily end up scoring higher on FanDuel than they would on DraftKings because of the takedown defense points.
100%. Good point there. Bimmer saying Rosa sleeps him in the second. Oh, boy. DKJX going balls deep on that plus 1,200. Melon in the chat. What's up, Melon? Rosa says he's knocking this chinny bump. Did he really say that? That's interesting. I don't think Rosa's knocking out anybody, but we'll see. So we'll move on to the next fight, and we have probably the people's main event. This is the fight that I'm most invested in. I have a lot of money invested in on Alexander Romanov getting it done today, going against Jared Vanderaa. Let's start with Uncle Wheezy. Uncle Wheezy, what is the best bet for this Alexander Romanov versus Jared Vanderaa fight?
Yeah, I'm just not going to overthink this. This is going to be Romanov by murder. I'm just going with Romanov inside the distance here. You know, if the last time Jared Vanderaa fought a Moldovan, it didn't go well for him. Sergey Spivak was 3 for 3 on takedown attempts and absolutely dominated him on the ground. And frankly, Alexander Romanov is just a little bit better version of Sergey Spivak at this point. Spivak's got better stand-up, but Romanov doesn't play around in the stand-up. He's going to take this guy down. A guy who got taken down all 3 times by Spivak, 0% takedown defense in the UFC. So yeah, Romanov inside the distance.
Romanov inside the distance for you, around minus 250. Best line, I think, is on DraftKings there. Billy, what are you looking at for this fight?
This is actually my key to victory play of the day, aka the cigar fight of the night, where you grab your weed and you watch your money cash. Romanov has been a cash cow for the boys, and I'm going right back to the well. Maybe some people were thrown off by the Espinino fight, but man, Vanderaa is a guy that I'm kind of familiar with now. We kind of seen him a couple of times. While I don't think he's bad, He's definitely not good. Romanov, sneakily from betting on Romanov, there's something about Romanov where he usually finishes it in round 2 and not 1. Romanov round 2 is plus 375. That's where I got that at. I got round 1 and 2 just in case, but a little bit more on the round 2. Vanderaa, the one thing I will say about Vanderaa, if you ever watch a Jared Vanderaa interview, if you ever see Jared Vanderaa talk, that dude has CTE worse than Diaz, man. I'm telling you. And that dude can take a lot of fucking damage. So I think what happens in this fight is Romanov beats his ass so bad in the first, and he sneaks it in the round 2, and we end up cashing the ticket at pretty nice plus money.
Fair enough. So Romanov round 2 for you, plus 400. I see it on Bet Online. For me, I'm kind of going the same route, Billy, but I'm taking a little more safer route. What I do have is Romanov wins in round 1 or round 2, and that is sitting at minus 210 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Kind of covers both sides. I can see a scenario where Romanov takes him down in the round 1, finishes him there, or like you said, maybe Vanderaa does take a little bit of a beating, and it gets to round 2, and he finishes him there. So I think minus 210 is a lot better than the minus 590 money line, minus 500 on Bet Online, which, by the way, a lot of money is coming in on the Vanderaa side. I think, yeah. So Romanov went all the way down to minus 900 on Bet Online. He's all the way back up to minus 500. So that's interesting there. But yeah,
theory on that, Brady. I think that the sports books, with the fights being pulled off and the time that the fights are in the middle of an NCAA football slate, they had to bring down Romanov's price tag for people to be able to parlay. And I think it's like a fake, like, you know how like sports books have like sharks that come up to bet the line just to bring it down. I think they only brought it down so people could parlay a UFC card because they weren't taking as much money as they thought they would for this event.
Greasy. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine somebody going out there and playing Jared Vanderaa with much confidence, to be honest. So could be. Narco Cop, what are you looking at for this fight here?
I don't have a play on this fight, but if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Romanov by KO at plus 175. Going back and watching Vanderaa, the dude, when he's on the ground with the Spivak fight and any other fight, the guy doesn't give up his back. He rather just take out pounding. So with that being said, if the guy's not going to give you his back and just take a pounding, I think Romanov is just going to go for that pounding and possibly pound him out. But I will say one thing. Romanov's gas tank is very, very sketchy. If Vanderaa is to survive here in the first and part of that second round, I will tell you one thing. It's going to be very hairy for him if it gets to the third. And I'm not going to be happy holding any type of Romanov ticket. For that reason, for the people in chat, like, stay on the pulse on this fight, because I will look for an opportunity to live bet here if I see Romanov huffing and puffing after the first round, because Vanderaa is a big dude. And you go back and watch that Roque Martinez fight, and Romanov was on top, and somehow he let Roque Martinez stand up. That's not a good look for me. And, I just can't fathom, laying minus 500-600 with a guy does not have a good gas tank. And for that reason, I'm going to go Romanov KO. But honestly, this fight is sketchy if it goes past the first, 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think the time to fade Romanov will come. I thought that time would potentially be against Juan Espino. It was, but it didn't happen there. But I think it will come eventually, but I don't think it'll be here. And like you said, Narco Cop, if you do think that, Vanderaa can survive that first 7.5 minutes, 10 minutes, Vanderaa wins in round 3 on FanDuel Sportsbook plus 3,400. Like that's probably his path to victory, right? Is going to be a third round knockout, right? So plus 3,400 for Romanov round 3. That is the best spot out there that I do see. So if you do like Vanderaa, that could be a spot to look at, or a potential hedge spot as well. So we will move on to the next fight, and we have Chris Gutierrez going against Felipe Colares. Narco, let's stick with you on this one. What are you looking at here?
I actually have a track bet on Chris Gutierrez round 3 plus 1,400. My reasoning behind that is Colares, extremely durable, extremely tough, granite chin. The guy is very hard to get out of there. But Chris Gutierrez is a leg kicker. Chris Gutierrez has some nasty power behind his leg kicks. It's an orthodox matchup. So with that being said, that lead leg is there for him to chop off. I think he's going to be able to hit that lead leg multiple times, eventually making Colares, succumb to it in the third round late. Chris Gutierrez is a slick striker, but he just doesn't throw enough volume for me. So, Colares' path is probably trying to take down Gutierrez, but Gutierrez has really good takedown defense. People always go back and talk about the Dern fight. Dern is a very good wrestler. Colares is not a very good wrestler. There's a huge difference between those two guys. So I think this fight's going to stay standing for the most part. And if it stays standing for real long, he's going to be able to chop off that leg. And you saw it in the Ewell fight. You saw it in multiple fights with Gutierrez. That Ewell fight, I was holding a plus 2,100 third round stoppage for Gutierrez ticket. And somehow, Ewell survives. But yeah, I'm going back to the wall. Plus 1,400, I think is good here.
Plus 1,400 round 3. Yeah, don't hate that. Uncle Weezy, what are you looking at for this one here?
I am right there with Narco Cop on this one. So you and I, Brady, were kind of DMing last night, and you gave me what was called the old 1-2-3 parlay, which was one-upping a parlay that I had just given you. And I'm going to give you 2 legs of it right now, and I'll give you the third a little bit later on. But the first leg of the old 1-2-3 is Steve Garcia to win by knockout in round 1. The second leg is going to be Chris Gutierrez to win by knockout in round 3 at plus 1,800. I am right there with Narco Cop, all the exact same reasoning that he used. The leg kicks add up. And I don't see Colares, first of all, being able to take down and hold down Gutierrez. I see his gas tank emptying out. I see the leg kicks piling up, and I see the attrition finishing the fight in the third round for Chris Gutierrez by knockout. Plus 1,800, because I don't think he's going to sub Colares. Colares is really good on the ground, but I do see the knockout happening late in this one. I also think if you're on the Gutierrez side, a really good bet is just the third round / decision that covers both. But at plus 1,800, I love that line. I'm already in on it. I've got a $5 bet to win 3,480. It's also called the Party at Wheezy's Parlay. So if we hit this parlay, man, and I'm going to give you the third leg in a couple of fights here, Party at Wheezy's tonight.
Let's go. Let's get it. Adrian with the dono saying, got Romanov parlayed all over, trying to leverage my Espino money back from that quitter, even have him in NFL, soccer, and college football parlays. What I will say, Adrian, is I think that does hit for you, but I'd be very careful parlaying one thing with everything else that you're doing. Nothing is certain in this game. We saw Johnny Walker versus Thiago Santos go the distance last week. Billy, what are you looking at for this fight here, Gutierrez?
Man, this one kind of threw me off a little bit earlier in the week when I did my Contender Series parlay. I did a 4-leg parlay of Valdez, Mollet, shouts to Narco Cop and the boys for that one, and Romanov and Gutierrez. But as the week has gone on, man, as you could tell, there has been some buyback at this Felipe Colares line. It was at 275, and it got down to 225 at one point last night, and it's creeping back up to 250 as the casuals are parlaying stuff up and watching the public videos and stuff like that. I'm kind of don't think every favorite's going to cover on this card. There's about 5 of them, only 8 fights that are above 200 or more, I would say. And I'm kind of getting parlay shitter vibes from Chris Gutierrez, man. I'm not going to lie, dude. I'm not going to lie. I hope the parlay cashes, but like when I have a bad feeling about this fight, I went to sleep on a Wednesday night and woke up on a Thursday, and I cashed out of one of my parlays and replaced a 2-leg banger with Romanov and Nicolau, and I had to take Chris Gutierrez out. It was a better line value, and I felt a little bit more safer in that second read.
So what's your play?
Romanov and Nicolau minus 140, but for this fight, sprinkles. Just a little $5 bet. Colares by sub plus 700.
Colares by sub plus, I see it plus 800. Billy, are you calling me a casual? I literally have Gutierrez parlay, but yeah, you do see a ton of money coming in on the Colares side there. But yeah, I like Gutierrez here quite a bit. Narco brought up the takedown defense, phenomenal takedown defense. Colares, his wrestling is just not there. He's very tough. He's very gritty. I'll give him that. But we saw his cardio fail him in his last fight against Luke Sanders. Chris Gutierrez is going to have a much better cardio. It's going to get harder and harder, I think, as the fight goes on for Colares to get on the inside, take him down. And especially when he's kicking those legs, right? I think that's going to really add up. And I think Chris Gutierrez is going to win a pretty one-sided decision. Maybe the first round is close. Maybe Colares can get him down here or there. But I think as the fight goes on, the takedowns will be stuffed easier and easier. Those legs will get beat up. And I could potentially see a third-round finish there. But yeah, I do like Gutierrez here in this spot.
Any precautions on that line changing 50 cents on a card that didn't really get a lot of like sports betting action? Not a lot of lines really move. They usually move up on these type of cards, and his was one that really went down a lot. 50 cents is a lot, dude.
That is a lot. No, my theory is, there's not much things that stick out this week. There's not many dogs that stick out. Dern Win was a very popular dog that a lot of people seem to be on. That Win fight is off. I think people tried to gravitate onto the Colares side now and try to hit that one. That's kind of my thought process there.
Don't blame me. Don't blame me. I definitely would agree.
But yeah, that's weird. I mean, I parlayed Gutierrez like minus 270. I thought the line would get wider, but no, it has.
Damn, I thought it was going to get to 315, 320, and then it went the exact opposite way. There was a couple of fights on this card that went opposite of the way I thought the line was going to move.
Yeah, I mean, just a weird card in general. But we do have a dono in the chat. Very big deal. Good luck today to everybody. Good luck to you as well. Very big deal. And we have Skells with the 29 super sticker. Appreciate that, Skells. Appreciate you for hanging out. And he also says, there he is. Thanks, my guys. Making a good amount of money on the recent cards. Thanks to your picks. I appreciate that. Appreciate you for hanging out. Glad you can make some money. Hopefully we make some money on this 9-fight card. So let's move on to the next fight. And we have, the people's main event. Maria Agapova going against Sabina Mazo. Why don't we kick it to the Maria Agapova truther, Billy Briz?
Oh, man. This is definitely a prove-it fight. I'll give you a pre-story for this one. I have a list of fighters at weight classes that I just auto bet. As soon as I see them on the book, they're profitable to me. I auto bet them. You only get them 3 to 4 times a year. Maria Agapova, man, she's on the list, but she might be cut off the list after today, man. This line moved the exact opposite way that I thought it was going to move. Honestly, I was shocked to see Sabina Mazo open up as big as a favorite as she did. I thought those were going to get closer towards a pick 'em, not the other way. Ended up having to replace my bet at plus 155. I got a half unit here on Maria Agapova on the money line. I just think that Mazo is a slow starter. Agapova can take advantage of that. I don't think Agapova is the greatest gas tank ever, as that proved in the Shannon Dobson fight. But you're telling me we're getting a minus 1,500 at plus money now? I mean, how down can you be on Maria Agapova? I don't know. A lot of people don't like her because she has a little bit of a drug history. But, man, who doesn't at that age?
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around about.
She lives in Florida, man. She lives in Florida, and she's at American Top Team. So what? She does a little bit of coke, man. If you knew some other fighters that probably did drugs, you probably have a different opinion on them. I'm a Sean O'Malley fan. I can't imagine what he does in his off time.
Yeah, I don't think it's more so the drugs, the more so she just seems like a crazy person. But with that crazy style, she does bring it into the cage, which is fun to watch. And I think this will be a pretty fun fight to watch as well. Yeah, this is the fight that I want absolutely nothing to do with at all. But the play that I did go with is going to be the fight doesn't go to decision plus 138 on FanDuel Sportsbook. And the reason being is because Agapova's probably going to come out. She's going to go hard. She's going to go fast. She's going to look for that early finish. She has tons of finishes on her record, and that could be the case. Or, she gassed out very bad in her last fight against Shanna Dobson. And if Shanna Dobson can finish you when you're gassed out, I think Sabina Mazo will have no problem. So kind of covers both sides. Again, I hate this fight. Nothing really sticks out. But if I had to play something, it would be a shot on the violence, and the fight doesn't go to decision. I think it's going to be a very fun and exciting fight, though. I think it's going to be a very hectic pace. I think it's a good fight to have on DraftKings, but in terms of betting, it's just hard to get on one side there. But the play I will give out is the fight doesn't go plus 138 on FanDuel, plus 135 on BetOnline. Narco Cop, what are you looking at here for this fight?
Dumpster fire for me. I don't have anything. But the one thing I had a show yesterday with AJ, and he made a good point about Mazo by submission. I think it's plus 1,000. And the reasoning behind it is you go back and watch that Kish fight. When she hurt Kish in that fight later on, she immediately went to the rear naked choke, I believe, and choked her out. And Kish is not an easy girl to get out of there. And with the way Agapova fights, if Mazo is extremely tough herself. So I don't honestly see Agapova getting her out of there. She's very, very tough. And if she doesn't, and the way Agapova fights, she could possibly, gas out again, and Mazo might, hit her up and drop her and then go for the sub like she did against Kish. The thing with Agapova that really, initially I thought I was going to bet her, but man, getting kicked out of 2 gyms, getting kicked out of ATT, getting into a car wreck while you're drugged out, trying to stab another
She's
person.
24, man. Cut her a break. What were you doing at 24?
So stabbing another person or attempting to stab another person at 18.
It just got caught on camera.
I don't want to sound all righteous here, but I mean, everybody that hasn't at least stabbed 3 people by the age of 24, raise your hand. I mean, because it's not me. I've stabbed so many people, Narco Cop, we all
got into some bar fights. We just weren't UFC fighters with cameras in the bar.
Sure. But the other thing with Mazo is I can give you a nugget. I don't know if you guys know, she's also got kicked out of recently out of King's MMA. So take it for whatever you want. I don't know why she got kicked out. But you got 2 girls both kicked out of their gyms. I just don't trust either girl, honestly. I want no part of this fight.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So Adrian with the dono, in the words of the legendary Uncle Weezy, Mazo about to get her ass shaved. Uncle Weezy, do you agree or disagree with this statement?
Dude, I don't know what the hell is going to go on in this fight. I mean, the narrative is like, it's so bad. It's like a tornado, inside of a hurricane. These 2 ladies are a mess. Agapova is the kind of woman who's like, do like a gram of cocaine and then make a pot of coffee just to take her to the next level, and she fights like it, so I don't know what to think here. My thought, and let me be really clear again, I am not betting this fight. All of you guys who have a strong take on this, good for you. I hope you guys cash. But here's the thing that I'm thinking. Just from what I've seen from Agapova, she does seem to be a bit of a loose cannon. Doesn't seem to be a lot of process to her game. She just throws volume. So I'm going to say Mazo to win in the 3rd round is plus 1,400. Maybe, Agapova just keeps a little more in the gas tank than she had in the Dobson fight, but just gasses out, and maybe Mazo gets her in the 3rd, plus 1,400. I'm not betting it. I'm not touching this fight. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy these 2 crazy ladies just fucking bang it out in there. It's going to be a fun one.
Dude, Weezy, I'm surprised you didn't give out the draw place, 6,600.
I was looking at that. I was actually saying it because I don't want to touch this fight. Like sometimes I'll just say, all right, I'll chicken out. I'll put 1/10 of a unit on the draw to win 6.6 units. The draws on BetOnline are plus 6,600, and I was actually looking at that.
I was actually looking at that too. But yeah, Chris in the chat saying over 300 people in here. Don't forget to smash the like and sub. Good luck, everyone. Good luck to you as well, Chris. Good luck, everybody in the chat. And yes, I agree. Let's get those likes up. Appreciate you all hanging out before the fight starts. So we'll move on. I think we have 1, 2, 3 fights left. We have Tim Elliott going against Matheus Nicolau. Let's start with Billy. Billy, what are you looking at for this one?
Man, this one was one that I ended up having a lot of confidence on by the end of the week. I love me some Matheus Nicolau here. Wish I would have got on a Sunday at minus 165, but I took it money line minus 200. But 1 unit to win a half a unit on that. And the fixed to closing line value, I took Nicolau by submission plus 400. Elliott has been lined as an underdog 5 times in his career in the UFC, 0-5, 3 out of those 5 losses are by submission. Nicolau fishes for submissions. I'm not a big Tim Elliott guy. Brady, you know me, man. I got a thing for Gina Manzani. So if Elliott ends up getting submitted and going to the hospital and gets cut from the UFC and ends up breaking up with his relationship, Gina Manzani, give me a call, baby.
Dope what they song here. Weezy gathered in his masses, prepared to shave the bookies' asses. I love that so much. Weezy, thoughts on that little tune there, and then also thoughts on the fight.
That, for those who don't know, is a little bit of Black Sabbath from back in the day, man. The song War Pigs, absolutely one of my favorites. Big up yourself, Dope Space Cowboy. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm right here with you, Billy, on this one in terms of Nicolau getting that submission. We do know that Elliott just does not fare well when he is an underdog. And, just looking at his UFC experience, we got 9 losses, and 4 of them are by submission. So this guy either loses by decision or submission. I do think Nicolau wins this fight. But at plus 400, I do like that submission prop. But we do have to give you the third leg of the party at Wheezy's parlay.
Let's go.
Well, the third leg is going to be Matheus Nicolau by second round submission, plus 1,400. That completes the old 1, 2, 3, $5 to win about 3,500. If all 3 of those hit, party at Wheezy's tonight.
Hope that hits, man. Hopefully there is indeed a party at Wheezy's. I'm going to agree with you, though. I think Nicolau by submission plus 500 is the way to go. Elliott's been submitted, I think, 5 or 6 times in his career. I think 4 in the UFC as well. So
great fight to target on FanDuel, too. I keep on saying about the takedown defense. This is the one.
100%. But yeah, I think, Nicolau is just going to have opportunities, right? We've seen Elliott gas out before, pushing a very wrestling heavy pace. This fight is going to probably hit the mat at some point in time. And I just think he's going to get many opportunities to find the submission. Plus 500, Elliott does leave openings for him to get submitted. So Nicolau, a legit BJJ black belt, he actually has more submissions on his record than he does knockouts. So I think the sub prop is where I'm going to be looking at plus 500. Narco, what are you looking at for this one here?
Right there with you guys. I have a track bet. Nicolau by submission plus 500. That line's still hanging there. A lot of places it's like 300, 320, 350. So FanDuel is always behind the ball. I like that play, man. Elliott just grapples a lot. He likes to get those takedowns. But the one thing with him is he's defensively irresponsible when he's going for these takedowns. Nicolau's going to have every chance to get his submission in this fight. Ryan Benoit had him in a deep submission he got out of. Nicolau's a BJJ black belt. Like I said, this fight is going to get to the ground, and, Nicolau is going to have every chance to get that submission. And at plus 500, I think is a really live, good line here for this prop to hit.
Yeah, I think it is live as well. But we will move into the co-main event. And we have Randy Brown going against Jared Gooden. Let's start right back with you, Narco Cop. Narco, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Actually have a track bet on Gooden KO plus 460. The line is down now. I think it's plus 420. I still like it. I just think, an actual bet another bet that I do have, I should say, is the under 2.5 minus 136. I like that as well. Standing, this fight might stay standing for long periods of times just because Gooden has good takedown defense. We saw it against Abukar. He was 1 for 5 in his takedowns. He is a better wrestler than Randy Brown is. Randy Brown is there for his leg to be kicked. We saw that in multiple fights now. But if this does get to the ground, Randy Brown has nice submissions down there, and he's really long. So, one way or another, if this stays standing, I think, Gooden might find that chin, and Gooden has a ton of power in his punches. So, at plus, now I'm seeing 500 you're showing me here. I like that line, man. I got 460. The line went down on FanDuel, but over here, I guess it's gone up. So I don't mind the plus 500 at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally his win condition. That's how he wins. He's not going to win by sub. He's not going to win by decision, more than likely, right? I think it is going to be a knockout if he does get it done. So, yeah, if you do like Gooden, I think that's the way to go. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this one here?
Yeah, I did a balls deep breakdown of this fight on my channel with my guy, the Monk Matician, and we kind of went into the stats pretty deep on this one. Randy Brown very susceptible to those low leg kicks, as Randy Brown is a boxer first. That was his first martial art. So those boxers are heavy on their front leg. And we know that Randy Brown, being 6'3", 170, he's got some neuro ass legs, man. You kick those calves, he's going to be in trouble. The problem is that Gooden has only thrown 5 leg kicks in his 3 UFC fights. Very interesting. So I'd like to see him going to that more often here, but I'm right here with Narco Cop because the way I see this fight, I don't see Randy Brown losing this fight or losing minutes of this fight. Randy Brown lands 3.72 significant strikes a minute and absorbs 2.79. But Jared Gooden is landing 5 significant strikes a minute, but absorbing 7.55. And he's showing sub 50% striking defense. I don't like that. That's not the mark of a minute winner. But that being said, with Gooden being the underdog here and being a fairly good underdog, I like him knocking out Randy Brown, because we've seen Randy Brown in his 4 UFC losses, 3 of them have been by finish. The only guy who beat Randy Brown who didn't finish him was Bilal Muhammad, and Bilal Muhammad doesn't finish anybody. So the path is finishing Randy Brown inside the distance. And if you could get plus 460 or plus 500 on what I feel is Jared Gooden's win condition here, even though I think Brown wins this fight, I think plus 460, plus 500 on the Gooden knockout is a really good bet. You can just sprinkle it and get back a unit. And it's like I say, I think it's his win condition. Randy Brown has been finished in 3 of his 4 losses. So that's the best bet, even though I do think Randy Brown wins this fight more times than he loses it. I think that Jared Gooden at plus 460 at the knockout is a really nice price.
Yeah, I don't hate it. For me, I'm kind of on the same boat in a way. I took the fight won't start round 3, which is minus 102. I think there's going to be violence in this fight one way or another. Both guys are very, very dangerous. Gooden, if he does win, it's going to be by knockout. Randy Brown, if he does win, I could see it being by knockout as well. I mean, Gooden is very, very hittable. He's there to be hit and hit a lot, and Brown does possess some power. So, but it covers both sides. I think this fight has a really good chance of ending before fight or round 3 does start. So that's kind of the look I took there. And then also the under 2.5 is another thing that stuck out, which is minus 125. I think that's 5 dimes, then minus 136 on FanDuel as well. But yeah, my fight won't start round 3 is what I'm looking at there. But I definitely like your guys' KO calls for the good inside. Billy, what are you looking at for this one?
I'm going to get a little bit greasy on that. I definitely think it happens by KO, but if you look at the round props, good thing about this card, everything's lined up for you to cash before the main event. If you look at the round props, Gooden by round 1's plus 650 and round 2's plus 900. So I'm going to go down that route.
Sounds good. We have Melon in the chat with the dono saying, Brady, get them keys ready, guy. I think I said Melon gets my house and my car. I think it was Marina Rodriguez flying Ezekiel choke in the 5th round, something like that. So yeah, they're ready, Melon. If you do get that, I will send over my keys to my house and my car. So best of luck to you. Yeah, so I say we move on to the main event then. We have about 12 minutes before the card does start, and we have Marina Rodriguez going against Mackenzie Dern. Let's start with Billy. Billy, what do you like in here?
This one, I'm going to take a cop-out answer. Like I said, I'm not going to act like I know more about women's fights than the actual women that are fighting at that division. And Emily Ducate said Dern is a lock. I'm going to tailor on it. You can get Dern and Godinez at minus 101, or you can go Dern with Fury if you want to get some boxing action in there with you. Because the way this card's lined up, by this time we're going to start getting into the boxing fights. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a degenerate gambler. I cap a lot of sports. And by this time we're looking to start looking on to the night, and we're going to go Mackenzie Dern and Tyson Fury plus 101.
So you are on the Dern side. We do have 365 of you in here. We are 15 likes away from 100. Let's try to hit that before we get out of here in about 5 to 10 minutes. Narco Cop, what sticks out to you in this fight here?
I kind of agree with Billy. Like, if Dern gets this to the ground, I think it might be over with 1 takedown. But what I did play is, I don't like Dern's wrestling, and I'll say that, her wrestling is not good. But she has 5 rounds to get that takedown. But as long as this stays standing, I think Rodriguez kind of pieces her up. I took Rodriguez by decision, plus 500. Rodriguez, that KO line is plus 300, 340. She only has 1 KO in 7 or 8 UFC fights. So Dern, on the other hand, is durable. I mean, the girl can take shots. She's tough. We know she's tough. I don't see why the decision line, I guess because it's 5 rounds, is much greater than the KO line. But I honestly think if Rodriguez wins, it's by decision here. And to get it at plus 500, I like it. But I'm well aware that if Dern gets this to the ground, it might be over. So I'm I'm kind of banking on her surviving maybe 1 or 2 takedowns and basically piecing her up on the feet and getting that decision win.
Yeah, man, kind of a contrarian take that you see out there, right? Rodriguez by decision. A lot of people think that, this fight's going to finish one way or another, right? If Dern gets it down to the mat, it's probably a sub. If she does not, it's probably a knockout. But I do like that contrarian take there. We do see the fight doesn't go at minus 300. Like, that's insane, right? Like, I can very well see a scenario where, Dern, maybe she does get a takedown and she doesn't sub Rodriguez, or maybe Dern cannot get a takedown. Rodriguez picks her apart for 25 minutes. So, yeah, the minus 340 on FanDuel for fight doesn't go on a fight like this. It probably should finish, but my goodness, that line is wide. For me, though, I'm kind of going the other way. And if you guys know me, you guys know I'm the biggest Dern hater out there. But what I did do was Dern by submission plus 100. It actually opened up, I think, plus 185 on FanDuel, which is crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's her win condition. She's going to win by submission if she does win. I don't see her obviously win by knockout. She has 0 of them, maybe like a ground.
I don't even see her winning by decision.
Yeah, no, Dern is not going to win by decision. If she wins by decision, it's going to have to be a scenario where she gets a takedown in at least 3 rounds, which I'd be shocked if that happens. So Dern by submission for me, I think 1 takedown is probably all it takes, but I'll be rooting heavily for Rodriguez to get it done. Wheezy, what are you looking at for this fight here?
Yeah, I have a tracked bet on this fight that I just made this morning. I did bet 1 unit on Mackenzie Dern to win by submission. Those of you guys who follow my YouTube channel and watch my show, Just the Tip, know that I give out the ass shaving of the week at the end of every show. This week I did it on Thursday night. I had Phil Hawes down as my ass shaving of the week. That fight obviously got canceled. So now I have to change who I think is going to shave ass. And I didn't want to be lazy and take Romanov. I'm picking Mackenzie Dern to win this fight, you guys, and I'm going to make Mackenzie Dern over Marina Rodriguez my ass shaving of the week. I'm changing it now. It's out there for people to hear. Look, one thing that I saw out of Dern in her last fight against Nunes that really, really impressed me is something that I like to see wrestlers do, which is punch their way into the clinch, throw heat, come forward, bring your feet with you when you're throwing those strikes, wind up in the clinch. Because if Dern gets into the clinch over and over and over again, she's going to get that same single leg she got against Nunes. And then it'll just be a matter of time before she gets this submission. She is at a completely different level on the ground. Marina Rodriguez has only shown 62.5% takedown defense thus far in the UFC. That is a bad recipe because Mackenzie Dern could potentially only need 1. Now I'm even seeing Dern striking get a little bit better. She's throwing with heat. She's bringing her feet with her, and she's getting into the clinch. If she does that same thing like she did against Ansarov/Nunes, I see her winning this fight by submission and getting it done early. So yeah, as long as Dern keeps pressuring.
In a row?
What's that?
Are you going for 3 or 4 in a row for ass shaving of the week? You've been on a nice little streak.
Yeah, I think this will be the 4th if this one comes through. It's been ever since Shariko got knocked out by Abdul Razak Al Hassan. That was the only one that hasn't come through yet. So however long ago that was. So yeah, I was bummed to see Hawes, not get the win fight, but we got to shave ass somewhere. And I'm instead of taking a minus 700 favorite, I wanted to give you guys something. I'm calling Dern by sub plus 100. I got 1 unit on it. And yeah, that's what I'm going with, you guys.
Let's go.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think 1 takedown is probably all you need, Wheezy, and then you'll be feeling good. Once Dern gets on top, you will be feeling good for sure. So let's kick it around to the guys. Wheezy, let them know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week.
Yeah, check me out on my YouTube channel, Uncle Wheezy. You can find me on Twitter at MMA Wheezy, and I'll be on Pub Sports Radio tomorrow night with Brady doing Stat Diggers at 5:15 Central Time. And on Pub Sports Radio at 6 o'clock Central Time every Tuesday doing the DraftKings show. Yeah, but check me out on my channel too. I do balls deep breakdowns of fights, full card breakdown called Just the Tip. And thanks everybody for watching, and good luck on all your bets today.
Heck yeah, thank you, Wheezy, for coming on, giving some nice takes today. Narco Cop, let them know where they can find you and what you have going on throughout the week. I know you have a new show that just premiered last night.
Yeah. So you can find me at Narco Cop on Twitter. My YouTube channel is Narco Cop MMA. I just launched a new show with AJ MMA Betting. It's called Lambo Plays. Basically, it's picking plays that are plus 300 or better on every single fight. My other show is on Monday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's the Dana White Contender Series show. We're coming off a 8.3 unit win last week, so we're just keeping it rolling. We've been dominating this Dana White Contender Series cards, and looking forward to another profitable Tuesday. Good luck, everybody.
Sounds good. Good luck to you as well, Narco. Thank you for coming on. Go check out Narco, putting out some great content. Billy, what is up, and where can they find you, and what do you have going on throughout the week?
For starters, man, salute to the people in the community putting out content to make my life easier. You know, I cap a lot of sports, so I bet a lot of sports as well. Can't always get on screen, talk about fights and stuff like that, so always appreciate it. Shouts to Wheezy and Narco Cop. That Dana White Contender Series 1 gave me the confidence, and Mallet went with that one. That was the schmacker of the week, and then Wheezy, you've been shaving some asses this fucking last month and making me some cash. Shouts to you guys. You can find me over on Twitter at Getting Bills. My pinned tweet is my betting card for today, free and available for the public since it's a nice little early card. We're about to go live on Pub Sports Radio, and we're about to live bet this card for 7 hours straight, man. I don't know if you like making money, but if you like making money and watching fights and chilling with the boys and feeling like you're at the bar and it's not COVID or anything like that, grab a joint, grab a drink, and come over to Pub Sports Radio.
Yeah, I'll actually be on Pub Sports Radio in about a couple minutes here for the prelims. I think 4 fights on the prelims. I'll be on there doing some live betting, live commentary, all the good stuff. So go check us out there on Pub Sports in about 3 minutes. You can follow me on Twitter, DFS_numbers. Instagram is DFS by the numbers. I'll be back with Uncle Weezy on Pub Sports Radio tomorrow, 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time, breaking down UFC Vegas 40, which is a lot better card than this. And me and Weezy already have some pretty nice takes for that one. Looking forward to that. Before we get out of here, though, we have like 2 minutes. Very quick picks on Fury Wilder. I'll start. I'm going with Fury here. Wheezy, Fury Wilder.
Yeah, I'm not much of a boxing fan, but I did see the last one. Fury looked good. I'll go with Fury. Hopefully Wilder doesn't come in wearing a 150-pound costume that drains his legs.
Narco, Fury, Wilder.
I'm a big boxing enthusiast. I did it for a long time. I actually like Wilder in this fight. I think Wilder is going to get that KO. He throws huge shots. The guy is up. He increased his weight this fight. I think by 8 or 9 pounds. It looks like he packed a lot more muscle on his body. So, hey, give me Wilder.
I saw that. He's looking a lot bigger. Billy Briz, Wilder or Fury? What do you got?
I'm spending my UFC winnings on Dern and Fury as a 2-leg parlay. Just hop up in the car. Sometimes a lot of people ask questions. It's like when you drive home from the bar and you ask your friend, I think you had a little bit too many drinks. And he's like, do you want to walk home or do you want to get in the car? You just get in the car and you shut up and you put on your seatbelt. Just put on your seatbelt and cash this ticket.
Sounds good, Billy. All right. Yeah, appreciate you guys in the chat. We actually did hit our 100 like mark and we actually killed it. So appreciate you guys. Leave a like on your way out. We will see you next week for Best Bet 1 hour prior to the prelims. As always, anytime the card starts, we will be here. Even if it's like a 3 a.m. card, we'll still be here. Or at least I'll be here. I think you guys would be as well. So we'll see you guys. Good luck. Let's make some money. Not the best card, but